Well, Chris, you've been very busy over the last week following the departure of Danny Wilson and Chris Morgan. So there's been an interview process for the managerial vacancy. Can you give us an update on what's happening there?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Danny and Chris for their efforts over the last 12 months with the club. It's always unfortunate when people leave, but as we all know, that's football and we have to move on. We've had a real, once again, high number of candidates who are interested in the position here at Chesterfield, and I think for obvious reasons that we're a very good club. You look at the stadium, you look at the achievements over the last few years, and it's an ideal job for somebody. So this week, Ashley and I have met a good number of people, interviewed them, and hopefully in the next 24-48 hours we can announce the new manager.
So it is important to talk about that, the selection process. It's not been a case of just identifying one target and then interviewing him and placing him in charge. It has been very much a thorough process.
Well, Ashley and I have been all over the north in the last few days, down the Midlands, meeting people, talking to people. The candidates apply via agents and emails and things like that, and we just compiled a list, and then we looked at the list and then we ticked a number of people off that we felt we'd like to speak to, and we've spoken to them this week, and we've come to a decision, and we're just hoping to get something over the line, as I say, in the next 24-48 hours. It's not an easy process. There are a lot of good candidates. There's always pros and cons for everybody that applies for the managerial position, but we feel the person that will come out on top is the right person at this right time for this club.
What are the key qualities that you've identified in the man that you're looking to appoint?
Well, I think that, as you stated before, we're looking for somebody who's young, ambitious, enthusiastic, has got some coaching record, and is wants the position to enhance his own position in football. We want somebody to come here and do extremely well and take this club to the highest position that we can achieve, and we want somebody to become successful here and bring that into the club. And I think that the person that you will that will eventually get the position, you will see those he fits most of those that criteria. We didn't want somebody that's managed for a long period of time and had 5 or 6 jobs and sees this as another position to have to try and do well, obviously. But we wanted somebody fresh and somebody who's up for it, somebody who's enthusiastic, good knowledge on the game, good experience within the game, but still fresh and ready and up for the fight, because the next manager's got 20 games. Or 19 games after tomorrow to keep us in League One, and that's the first target for him. And then after that, it's then to rebuild the recruitment side of everything that's required.
Now, Dave Allen, the owner, has taken a backseat role, obviously, since stepping down as chairman. But how much involvement has he had? How much dialogue have you had with Dave?
Well, Ashley and I always, are in contact with Dave most times through the week, and on this situation, he said to us both to go out, interview candidates, come back with the answers from them and our feelings and our thoughts, and we sit down and we discuss, the candidate that we all feel that is the right person for the position at this time, and he's still involved in the background, as we know, financially, and he's still got the interest in the club at heart in the front of it.
Now, turning to your own position, it was announced at the start of the week that you'd taken up a new role, moving from Chief Executive to Director of Football. Firstly, your feelings on that, your new role here?
Well, it's something that we've been discussing for quite a while, actually, Nick. It's something that I feel that I've got a lot still to offer on the football side of any football club, and I feel that I felt that with the managerial position changing now, that this would be the right time to step across and then take on 100% onto football. The club is being well run, financially tight, everything else, cash flows, good or bad, whenever we're up and down periods of the season. They're all taken care of by a professional accountancy firm, in shorts. The managers of each department will take on a little bit more responsibility in their departments, but they're all being well run. They all made a profit last year, so long may those departments continue to do well, and they have to take a little bit more responsibility. And I feel that rather than sit in the office and doing other work, and I can be out on the road watching under-21 games, watching players, looking at targets, going out with a manager, working with a manager. And I really feel that today's modern game, today's modern manager, it's very, very tough. It's a short-term jobs, as we're seeing all over the country, where managers are only in there for 8 months and 12 months. We want to give our manager, our next manager, the biggest support they can possibly do, take some responsibilities, not so much away from him, but shoulder the responsibilities. And as I said earlier, our next manager's got to come in and hopefully hit the ground running, get this team winning football matches and moving out the bottom four and staying in League One. And I feel that the way football's gone, this position, which 10-15 years ago in the UK was a position that football people were suspicious of, but now in this modern game now, everybody everywhere is appointing a director of football, and I feel that I'm the right person to do this at this club. I've dealt with all the transfers for the last 5 years. We brought in £4.5 million worth of players, and some of those players will still bring revenue in due to sell-ons, etc., etc. And we've done unprecedented business on football over the last number of years. Now we had a major loss this season with Paul Mitchell departing. So our recruitment needs to be back up to what we've been used to. Obviously, I'll play a major part in that. The academy, there's decisions to be made with the academy, and all sorts of things on football. So I think I'm going to be very busy. I think I'm doing something that I'm 100% love, which is being involved in football, and I can bring a lot to this role, and hopefully with the next manager bring some success to the club.
Now you step down as chief executive, then what happens with some of the duties that you were undertaking as part of that role? What happens? Well,
they're all going to be. I managed the managers, and I let them get on with the positions, and I let them get on with the jobs. If they had any complaint, any problems or anything, then they will come to me. Everybody in the club will step up to the plate, do that little bit more, take that little bit more responsibility, and there shouldn't and won't be shouldn't be any problems. It won't change.
So it's extra responsibilities for people at the club to fill in those.
But the responsibilities and extra responsibilities in their field. So the commercial, Jim and Richard, for CMB, we've got in Peter, an excellent top guy. I've never stepped on any of those shoes and said, we must do this, we must do that. They're experts in their field. They will just be able to get on with it. If there's any problems, then we still have the management meetings that we've always had, that I introduced to the club some 4 or 5 years ago, where all the managers get round the table and discuss, and we are still having those. So they'll be able to take on the extra responsibilities and get on with their positions.
So for you, it must seem almost like a fresh start, a new role.
Well, yeah, it is. I've been five and a half years or whatever it is in the role. I've enjoyed it. We've had some great times. We've had some problems, but that happens at every football club in various shapes or forms, and I've enjoyed it. But now I'm looking forward. It's like giving me a new lease of life, getting back involved, watching training sessions, being up there, allowing like I said, to pressure off the manager. But the bottom line is the manager will pick the team, coach the team, everything. I'm there to aid him and help him, and as I say, back up the recruitment drive and getting players looked at and bringing players in to develop and hopefully in the longer term future secure everything at the club.
Fans will be eager to know about the responsibility for recruitment and sales. So what will happen, for example, if an offer comes in for a player? What will be the process there?
Well, the process will be exactly the same as it always has been, where an offer will come in for the player. I will sit down with the manager. We will discuss. I will try and get the if it's see, as I've said many times, football used to be like an agent a club would approach a club. The club now approaches the agent of the player. The agent then speaks to the player. The player then decides, or he finds out what he's going to earn at his next club. That's turned his head, he's going, he's leaving. Then the club then approach our club. Then I will sit down with the manager, then we'll speak with the player and his agent, and then we take it from there. And then a decision will be made. And that's how it always has done, always has worked. And I think, the problem we have, and I keep saying it, I don't want to bore people with it, once a player is going into the Championship, he's earning anything from 8,000 and above a week. We obviously can't afford to do that. The player's career is short, and it's difficult, and that's why we need to rebuild this recruitment up again, so that if somebody comes in for player A and it's a good deal for the club, like we've been having, then we've got to have somebody to fill the shoes and to step in to replenish the squad, and we move on. And that's where we've worked for 4 years here, 5 years. And we've been very successful at it in the last 3.5 years with player sales, and let's make sure the players coming into Chesterfield Football Club have most notably been good signings.
And now the transfer window is open. What's the likelihood, do you feel, of moves both in and out of the club?
Well, I mean, last week, this week, Gary Little's moved to Carlisle. Gary's moving nearer home. And his salary will be utilised when the manager comes in. Is this somebody that I know for the fact most of the people that we spoke to regarding this position have seen the team play. In this modern world, technology, I know certain individuals that we've spoken to have streamed our games and seen all the 90-minute, watched all the highlights or 90 minutes of the games. So the person coming into the job does know the club, does know the players, has seen us play. He will obviously come in and be thinking, well, I've got 19, 20, 18 games to get this, try and stay in League One. We need a player in this position, that position, and whatever. So we've got to try and get some funds, get some wages, etc. And that was the reason why Gary was allowed to move on. So straight away there's some finance there for the next manager to play with. The window's open. As yet we haven't had any offers for any of our players. But, a lot of this, the window's open for 4 weeks, but majority of the business is done in the last 3, 4, 5 days. And that's a nightmare situation of it all. It all becomes a bit of a rush at the end, and decisions have to be made quickly, and players get as a month goes by, what's going to be happening. Agents are talking in their ears. It's a massive situation, and once again, down to one man, it's very difficult, meaning the manager has to deal with all that, and then he has to deal with trying to win football matches, coach players, find players, sign players, and then sell players. One man's job, it's just got gigantic due to the way the game's exploded off the pitch.
What can you tell us about level of interest in our players at the moment?
Well, I know there were several clubs there on Tuesday night at Luton. I don't think they'd have been too impressed, in all honesty, with the majority. But you see, when you're looking at a player, when you're going to sign a player, you've watched them over should have watched them over the period of time, and you know everything about the player. And sometimes these players have dips in form and confidence and error. We've got a number of players that are low on confidence, at a dip in form, and need stimulating, building up again, and hopefully that's the first job of the next manager. But if I'm looking for a player at another club, you've already identified what he can do and what he can't do, and if it's something that your club's lacking or requiring the good points of that player, then players will still move on.
So we're hopefully close to appointing a new manager, and obviously we'll announce that as soon as that's finalised. But just looking from now until the end of the season, obviously we're in a relegation battle. What do you see between now and the end of the campaign?
Well, it's going to be tough. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we're in, there's 5 or 6 clubs at the moment. I do think that if those clubs in the bottom 4 start to pick up 2 or 3 quick wins, then that will drag more clubs into it. It's with 4 teams going down in League One. There's teams in mid-table who are a couple of defeats away from really looking over the shoulders, if the current bad form were to continue, would get dragged into it. That's what we've got to do. We've got to target those teams in mid-table. We've got to think of ourselves. We've got 20 games from tomorrow to get 10 wins at the 20, which will put us into the low 50 points scenario, which will keep us in League One. I believe, personally, that these players are well capable of doing that. We're well capable. I'm not saying that we are a top 3 side in this division, but we've played them and we've competed against them for long periods of the game. I believe that we are more than capable of gaining those wins and more than capable of getting into a safety position come the end of the season. But it's going to be tough because other teams are recruiting. Other teams around us have all changed the managers as well. So they're wanting and expecting the same as what we're looking for. So we're in a battle. But it's always going to be a battle in League One because it's a very tough league. The expenditure in this league is the highest it's ever been, and it's just getting higher. And we have to try and compete with that. But I firmly believe that our playing squad, even as it is today, when it's full of confidence, when it's playing to its best ability, when it's playing the top of its game, it is as good as many in this division.